What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fight Night Friday night. We got some Netrunner games going on. We got LQ versus GC. Is a tournament matchup in the second round of a tournament. We're in double-sided Swiss, and we're looking at some booster decks here. So these are the decks that come with the Netrunner system gateway. They're really great decks. They're really great decks. They're dueling decks. They're super competitive against one another. They teach you all the cards. And I'm here to do this stream to hopefully talk some strategy and also give people a feel for how these decks play. There's not too much commentary on this here, so that's what I figured we'd look at. So LQ opens with a lot of ice, and it's some pretty cheap ice, which is good. White Space and Karuna opting to put a more better ice on R&D, I think is good. And GC opening up with red team. It's a pretty good opening. Get some credit on the board. Maybe get down your telework, get some money if you don't want to run any of these unprotected servers. I think that's a fine opening there. Yep, get your money off telework and you're off to the races. So what's nice about these decks here is they really teach you the format pretty easily. Yeah, so let's see. LQ decides to put Diviner there. I think that's fine, some cheap ice. And then Palisade goes on the remote. It's a pretty standard opening here. Opening up the remote there has to make you feel like maybe there's something in HQ that could be there. Not saying there is. I mean, we can see there's off-world office, but I think so far it's pretty standard. GC certainly running low on credits, but has the ticking ability there of verbal plasticity, which is just going to give 2 cards every turn. That is going to build this draw. And there's not too much draw in this system gateway starters. Yeah. Putting down Mayfly there is okay, but a lot of times you don't want to show your opponent that you have that there. That's your ticket into any server, and putting that down there really shows your opponent that you can get in, and you can see what, wow, okay. And LQ is just playing it aggressive, doesn't care that this is down there. Figures if you want to come get this agenda, you're going to have to deal with Amaze Amusements. Interesting. Putting the pressure on with only 4 credits, applying some pressure here, saying, okay, you can't res everything. So that's a good play. Really like that. That was smooth there. Maybe GC will follow it up with a R&D run. We'll see. Why not? LQ only on 4 credits here, so you're going to have a hard time resing a lot of these things. I mean, I think the runner's always going to pick cards here. Yep. So now GC really has a decision whether or not to contest this remote here. That upgrade either has to be Amaze Amusements or Manic Arm Skunk. Opting to get Carmen. This is odd. Play here, especially you have Shore Gamble there. So you would think that you would have wanted to maybe play Shore Gamble. Maybe you contest that remote. And pays off there for LQ. That is a really forward tempo agenda to score early. Really is a very different situation. And you got to consider, even if GC takes the tags there, I mean, it could have been Skunkworks, maybe he thinks he's having a difficult time getting in, but you take the tags there, LQ's not going to have enough money to actually do anything with those tags. And now, okay, this is good for GC. because he can afford to break this for 4 credits, and he's going to get 3 back, and he's got LQ back down to $4, which is a great spot to be as the runner. Advantage certainly goes right now to GQ, just having that, having the corp so low. GC has got that smartware. That may be something that he wants to get down right now, or even just get a credit, get to short gamble. It would be great to get like a DZMZ optimizer, get some of these programs on the board a little cheaper. I think this is great aggression with red team. I'm absolutely loving the way GC has played this red team aggressively. Not the end of the world because GC does have unity. I certainly wouldn't be showing it right now. And I like that play. That's a great play there. And getting one of these Urtica ciphers off the board early, there's only 2 of these ambush assets in this format, so getting rid of one early really reduces the probability that you'll see one later. You can really run a little bit more freely. GC playing very well, very aggressive at the right time. And yeah, so far so good. LQ's got to be thinking about clicking for credits here. I don't even know about a draw there. What do you want to draw? You got to ask yourself, what do you really want to draw? Now, that's not a bad card to trap the runner, throw that into server 1. And what are you going to do with that last ice? What did LQ do? Discards 1? I don't know what that was, huh? Straw gamble's great here. Might want to use that draw. There you go. Creative commission's awesome here. This is a nice turn to just take off. Runner's got no money. Playing it aggressive. Lockdown R&D. I like it. Why not? I would have been cheap and taken the creative commission money, but I like this. Lockdown R&D. See what's there. And we haven't seen an agenda, so getting rid of Nico off the board is nice. LQ's really just got to click for credits here. There we go. There we go. Last turn, getting rid of this tip here. That's a tough one to get rid of because you can res it so cheaply, but it's what happens when you overdraw and you have no credits. GC a little short on money here, but does have the creative commission. Not a bad turn to just build up here. Get the creative commission down at the end of the turn, maybe draw. See, maybe you can get down another smartware. Not a bad turn to build up your board state. You got to be asking yourself, okay, tough spot to be in. Definitely tempting to jailbreak HQ here because you haven't seen anything in HQ, but just locking down R&D. It's expensive though, $4. He's going to end up having to gain a credit and do creative commission, and got a big hand size now. You have to get rid of one of your conduits, I suppose. Here, just gain a credit creative. Really running it low to the ground. Which is often good. It's often good if you can make it work. Probably discard a conduit, yeah. LQ opts to put a fun house there. That's certainly going to slow down those R&D runs. You'd also have to think with conduit here that in the bin that it looks like GQ had another one. Here I'm not sure what the sideways is. I think that's probably to save the dollar, but that's not going to be very useful there. GQ's really got to build that board state. Get down the smartware, click each one of them, maybe get down your penny shaver. Penny Shaver and Unity here can make you some money on like cheap HQ runs. You can, yeah. Yeah, I mean, LQ seems to be back in the game here. I mean, getting money out. You really don't want to res anything this turn. You really want to get that government subsidy down, and then you can even think about scoring this. I mean, it's been sitting there. GC is certainly not running it. I do like how GC is not showing the Unity and the Cleaver, but the other problem is he also doesn't have money to install them either. And even if you draw here, a lot of the economy pieces are tough to play. Maybe you can get yourself... Now that's an interesting play because he doesn't have the breakers here. But I guess click one. Maybe you're expecting Bran. Definitely a risky spot for the overclock. See what he decides to do. His choices are either end the run or take 2 tags. He opts for 2 tags. Woof. Oh my. For 1 access, I don't think so here. I think you really had to build up your board state, maybe draw, try to get like, you still have another telework, try to get something like that. Maybe get in for a short gamble, definitely click the other smartware. Like, how is he even clearing these tags now? And this is a tough spot. I guess he really wanted to use that overclock money. Oh, he paid $4. That's not so bad, actually. I see. Now maybe he clicks Penny Shaver, removes the tag. Yeah, still a tough spot for 1 access, but definitely a tough spot for 1 access. Now you're on no money. Wow. And just like that, LQ's back in it. This is a really tough spot. That DMZ optimizer is going to make you back the $2 for sure. You already have 2 programs here that you have to install. I think you can get that down. I think you can click for credits here isn't bad. I think you can put more money on smartware because you're going to have to do it next turn anyways. Yeah, absolutely. I think you can just click for credits. Yep, absolutely. Why not? But you got to build it up. All right, now LQ's got to move on this agenda. This should just be scored, get you to 3 points. And you can keep pushing stuff there. You can even, with the economy that GC has, I think you can even hold on to that orbital for another turn. Oh, really, really worried about that R&D push. This is tough here. I don't think I would have played it this way. Not saying it's the wrong move, but like at this point you can hold the Bran or you could just score out superconducting hub. You could put next turn Bran here, put orbital here, advance, but I like trying to push behind this Amaze Amusements. But it doesn't look like he wants to score this one. And he's thinking that maybe he can't get through there with Cleaver. Yeah, and GC is not going to try. Just get down a program and hit the turn. LQ can score out this orbital now. Icing this server with the Bran. I mean, maybe he's trying to represent Vertica Cipher here. Certainly looks that way now. What do I know about Netrunner? These kids They got some moves here. These are nice free money runs. It only is costing $1 to check HQ, and you're getting that money back on penny shaver. So really just, as long as you don't mind spending the click, just free. Leech coming down is great. Get that creative commission in, unless you're considering contesting the remotes. Wants the leech instead. I probably would have surprised with this next turn. You get that creative commission down, you get it off the table, and then you can play that leech. Now LQ has some issues, got 2 agendas on the board. I don't think LQ is running them, but now all of a sudden has that off-world stuck in HQ, and that leech tells me that GC is just going to start pounding HQ next turn. You're getting a counter just every time and an access on HQ is a tough spot. Whoa! Over installs, just leaves it. This is interesting. That's wild. Especially you're giving up this agenda for free because, I mean, Leech is typically farmed off of archives because typically, especially in this format, there's no sneak door beta. Runner's going to put some cheap ice there, as you can see. That was just interesting, Netrunner you're seeing here. And again, had we gotten this off the table and started pushing these agendas out a little faster, so now it's costing you $1 to get a Leech token and C2 cards. I mean, still not a bad deal. See, get an access, pay $2. One of them's coming back onto Penny Shaver. Get a Leech token. Interesting game so far. And at 2-0, I mean, it's really anyone's game, but I have to say, I got to give it to LQ right now. Server 1 and Server 2 certainly don't look like agendas. This is certainly a play pattern that's not typical, and it has certainly disguised his hand, but at that cost, you now have an agenda in archives that you're not going to be able to get back. Now this has gotten a little bit more expensive here to run HQ because you don't have that second subroutine if the runner has 6 or less. All of a sudden now that's expensive to run here. I'm not so sure the value is still there unless you really think there's an agenda in HQ. This might be a spot where you try to build your board state. Typically, I see now it gets the money up to do that. Typically, you want to ask your opponent if they mind if you take it back. Nothing new has changed, but just out of respect, I think it's totally fine. They shouldn't say no, but now this makes sense. Now it's value again. So far, we've got a good game. And I like the speed at which these two players are going at it. It definitely shows the experience. They're not fumbling around on JNet. They certainly know the cards. We're seeing like real Netrunner here. It shows how competitive these two starter booster decks are. I got to give my hat off to Null Signal Games. They really built like an incredible onboarding package. That's nice. But you still have this floating around in here now. So one thing you should do as you're playing Netrunner is you should keep track of how many cards in HQ you haven't seen. So like GC should know that, I haven't been paying attention myself if GC has seen the Retribution, but definitely should know that LQ just drew a card, and that there's certainly a card in HQ that he has not seen. What came off the top of R&D. Ooh, really investing big in this conduit dig here. Um, that's interesting. It's interesting because GC has shown wanting to run HQ. Maybe won't anymore, but the value is there. You can see now at 4 points, GC is never running this card. GC certainly believes this is a Urtica cipher. He's not running there. Until he sees an Urtica cipher, an R&D or HQ, he's not running there. So had this somehow been able to be scored a turn earlier when it was just sitting there for a few turns, LQ certainly got the money. This game is over. It's 7 points. Let's see what GC puts together this turn. Man, at this point, if I'm GC, I say let the subs fire. I'm done with R&D. I'm going to either win off server 1 and server 2 and just run anything knowing that there's one Urtica left. But a fun house, a brand, a Karuna, you have to ask yourself, is it even worth it for a single access? Sure, you're going to get a token on Conduit. Great. But you're not seeing any more. I would have to think that this is just a waste. Just let those subs fire. Taking a tag here. It's costing you all of your tokens here. All your leech counter is going to cost you $2, $6. I don't even think he has enough to break them all. He's only got $5 left. This is $6. This is a tough spot. I'm having a hard time seeing how GC is gonna come out on top of this game. It's 4-0, single axes. I mean, show me a send the message here. You can get a Sam here, send a message, then sure. But this is a tough spot. Had to take the 2 tags to break Karuna, and I gotta think GC is thinking right now that this was an ill-advised run. Sometimes let the subs fire, especially on an end the run ice. Yeah, really invested heavily in that one conduit token. Costed him 2 tags. Down to 0 credits again. Going to be hard to get out of this one. Sometimes it's good to lock down R&D. I like the lockdown R&D early, but once it costs too much to do so, you have to change your game plan. And I think that is one thing that the best Netrunner players know how to do is they know how to change their game plan from when they are going to run the remote to when they're going to run centrals to when they're going to switch to HQ. And I'd like to think that right here you got the 2 winning agendas on the board. There's a chance with an overclock. Maybe it's possible for GC to get through. I think it costs here $1 on a leech token and then $3. So technically, if he ran right now, he could get in. He's going to take 2 tags. Retribution is in hand. Luckily, GC hasn't thrown anything out. Maybe we'll see. But he doesn't know if that's skunk or not. And if it's skunk, he's not getting in. Tread lightly. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. But he's going to get in here. Oh, my bad. I thought those were double palisade. He's not getting in here. It's going to be GG. It's just not going to be possible for GC to run server 2 the way that LQ played it. And that's going to be the game there. Really well played on both sides. It's just one of those things in Netrunner. Sometimes you make a mistake. Running this triple ice server there on the brand res was certainly a mistake. You make that one mistake and you can't come back from it. But they really both played well. I love GC's aggression early. Was really nice. I love the untraditional play of LQ. That really wonderful leaving this orbital superiority after the single res. You don't see that. You see people try to make something look like an Urtica cipher, make something look like an agenda when it's an Urtica, or an Urtica make it look like an agenda. And then here, I mean, you're going to see 2 cards. There was a world where GC happened to run HQ and see the Urtica and realize that server 2 wasn't, but this is going to be GG. And we'll see how GC responds as Corp in the next game. Really creative playing by LQ. Very aggressive running by GC. And even at some point, maybe even to the detriment, not changing up the game plan a little bit. Really just focusing in on R&D. Yeah, and it says it right here. Bad math. At this point, I mean, you just... Now this would be wild, right? You go there, but you don't have enough. If you ran this turn, be interesting enough, you could, and you saw, let's say, the Urtica and the send a message, you would know that this is an agenda. That would be wild, wild. Of course, you could get through here for $1, right? But here he's going to spend 4. And if you have the token at $1, you could legit get through there. That would be a wild swing. If you see the Urtica and you see and you steal the send a message, would just be a wild turn of events. Especially because there's a 1-pointer sitting in the trash. It could be 6-6. Let's see how lucky he gets. He really wants to see the Urtica here. And it's nice because he won't trash it. He won't have enough money. He sees it! Oh my God! Oh my God! No way! He has to know server 2 is an agenda. He knows. No! Penny shaver for 2! No! Oh man! Oh wow! No way! How did he do that? He already trashed one earlier. Wow! 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 That was a wild ending. Wild ending. Wow. Oh my goodness. I don't think GC realized what happened there at the end. Saw the perfect 2 cards. You're running that server, you're in. You can get through a Palisades. You know it's an agenda. Oh my God, that's 5 points there. I mean, surely I'm not saying you're going to win, but you got 5 points. There's another one in the bin. Wow. Wow, that was a crazy ending. I didn't think it was going to end like that. Crazy, crazy, crazy ending. Wow. I mean, he'll be sitting there with no money. He would have a hard time getting in anywhere. But trying to score these 3-point agendas behind that, it's going to be tough. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. I don't think he sees it yet, that he should have known that that had to be the agenda, like at the end there, like when you see the other Urtica. Whoo-wee! Wow, that was crazy. That was a really good game. Wow. Really good Netrunner. That was some excitement on the end. But like I said, should have been a little something different should have happened there. I mean, that wasn't the way I expected it to end there. You could have seen just a ridiculous comeback. A ridiculous comeback. Wow. Wow. That was wild. All right, now we're going to see him swap sides. We'll see how GC responds as Corp. I think we're going to see a more traditional style of Netrunner here. GC says we could see the card, so it was a wild ending, but I mean, if you know that there's only 2 Urtica ciphers and only 2 advanceable cards in the format that are not agendas, you've seen them both, like it has to be. Of course, maybe you don't think you can get in, but I mean, you have to try last click. You actually had enough money with Cleaver and a token on Leech to just get through. It would have, not saying the outcome would have been different in the end, but you have to run there. Excuse me. Good opening. Hedge fund. Did he draw for the hedge fund? I don't remember. Funhouse there is a great card. And yeah, why not? Put your best ice in front. You got enough money to res them both. Okay. LQ's hand, not a lot of money. It's aggressive play. Definitely get that, but I guess you can bail yourself out there. Bran. Now, where do you want to put the Bran? You want to put the Bran wherever the runner's going to run. That's where the Bran needs to be. So if you think you can draw them through the remote quite a bit and you want to protect agendas, you want to put in the remote. If you think that you see Docklands pass, you're going to see a lot of HQ running, you could put a Bran on HQ. Certainly will stop them from running HQ. Puts the Bran out on the remote. I like this. Get your verbal plasticity down early is strong. Getting smart, we're down early, especially. It doesn't seem like there's any meaningful need to rush right now. Now, GC has to ask, is there a window in which he can score this send a message? You certainly don't want it sitting in HQ with Docklands Pass. Its safest spot is probably in server 1, maybe behind a white space and a Bran. White space is a great additional card because you're telling yourself that unless... Oh my, that's risky, especially when you have 2 seamless launch in your hand. It's certainly risky because if the runner right now has tread lightly, you cannot defend it. Luckily, LQ's playing it slow and won't get in, it looks like, but you lose to tread lightly there. Where had you installed the white space, advanced it maybe once, you don't lose to tread lightly. Now let's see what he opts to do. You might want to save these at this point. Save those. Maybe get rid of something or use one. Yeah, I like the idea of saving those seamless launches. Yeah, why not? Why not? Hell yeah. And get your Bran res for free. Hell yeah. Or put Funhouse up. Keep them from HQ. Yes, it's $1 less, but like right now you're protecting nothing. So it's like maybe res the Funhouse instead. Sure, it's $1. You make $1 by resing Bran there, but I don't know. Funhouse HQ R&D seems nice too, especially you don't have enough money to res it. Okay. Not aggressive running, if you notice, by LQ, right? If you compare the last 2 games, GC, when the Corp was on 4 credits, was running, knowing like, hey, you want to res something on 4 credits, you're going to be broke. Right now, GC maybe just jams this Regolith and takes, $6 off it for the turn. Make the runner, have to go through. We're just going to leave it there. We'll see how they play this. You got to figure that regolith money is really important right now. Okay. Opting to put it behind a palisade. I like that. You're not, they do have a mayfly, but it would be like the whole turn to get through there. And here's some aggressive running from LQ. I like it. I'm going to get a card. C2 off the top. Comes up trashing in a maze amusements, sure. Put some money on smartware. I'd expect to see GC just triple clip this regolith. This is a really good run for LQ. $2 to get in, but you're getting a leech counter. You're seeing 2 cards. I do like this run. Seamless in white space though. Now you gotta have a different corp next turn, taking the money off of this. And we'll see how fast. Yep, plays it fast, just takes the $9. If you wanted to make that server HQ a little bit more annoying, you could have thrown the white space up top. But you do have 2 weak pieces of ice that aren't really going to stop the runner. You just have to be worried right now about these leech tokens. You have no ice on archives. HQ is wide open, and these things are tough. See if GQ wants to score this agenda at 3 points. I mean, it doesn't hurt to get that 4th point, but it is tough to score that second send a message. But you have 2 seamlesses in hand, so just get maybe those points down and see what you can do. LQ is going to have a tough time on R&D. The way the economy is and just taking tags, that's like the worst piece of ice on R&D for them right now. Short of barrier, of course. So here you certainly take the tag, pay $2. Get a card, C2, remove the tag. Certainly seeing a R&D lock right here. That was a mistake. Yeah, they're going to fix that. They got it. These guys know what they're doing. They don't need my help. Seeing some good Netrunner here. Trashes an Antarctica. Tough spot on the economy. You really have to clear that tag. With the corp on 12 credits, you don't want to see your verbal plasticity trashed. You don't want to see your smartware trashed. Oh, that's not bad though. Okay, love it. You're going to have to give up a card though. Overdrawing is somewhat tough, and just floating a tag there is really odd. If I'm GC, I am trashing verbal plasticity. I'm getting rid of the draw, especially I've already seen VRcation in the bin. We've already seen 2 jailbreaks. Yep, trashes that. I trashed the verbal plasticity too. That's nice. You're getting yourself 3 credits and 3 cards, although you're going to have to throw out a couple cards potentially. I might have just gone trash. Like if you're only going to gain 3 credits, why bother using it there? Definitely you want to trash that verbal plasticity. You really want to get rid of that. That is a huge card for the court, or for the runner rather. One thing in Netrunner is you do want to be careful about overdrawing. Now, you can certainly overdraw in situations where you're trying to find a card and time is of the essence. But in general, you want to be careful about overdrawing and throwing out your cards, especially as the runner, especially in this format. This deck size is really small, and when the games go on for a long time, you really need every single resource, every single event, and overdrawing is something you don't want to just be discarding cards if you can. Yeah, we may be seeing LQ just go tag me early right now, considering that he did not clear the last tag. That's certainly a strategy, and hey, sometimes it works. Nope, he's removing the tags. You can see the power of having Penny Shaver down early in this matchup. LQ's made so many successful runs, and if you're getting a credit each time, all of a sudden you're not broke. And you saw the way that GC was able to really remove tags with Penny Shaver and kind of use it to get out of a couple sticky spots. See how GC plays this. I'd like to think, yeah, he's going to score this out. With a click left, you can draw 2 cards, because I think anything you draw is going to be safe. We throw it into server 1. You could draw 1 card if you don't want to overdraw. Although you do have to be careful, because if you only draw 1 card, you're leaving the top of R&D open. Right now, you know, there's still a card on R&D that LQ saw. And you can see not having that smartware, having spent a few, it's tough now. You're sitting there with your 2 mutual favors. You have Carmen on deck, so I don't know so much that you need 2 of them, maybe just 1 to grab your cleaver. But this is a tough spot. We also haven't seen GC draw a public trail yet, and what's eventually going to happen is he's going to draw a public trail, and with Retribution in hand, he's going to be able to trash something. I like that leech install there since it's totally free, right? DZMZ lets you install the first program for free, so like even though you're not doing anything with the leech, you can put it down on the table. Let's see what happens here. I'd imagine this is going into server 1, and you can certainly even advance it and save your seamlesses. You're behind 2. Yeah, so I like that. Why not? Could have also been a little sneaky and left it there and used a seamless, considering you're probably not going to try to score. You can, never advance your 4 2s. Here, LQ can get in that server had he ran first click with Mayfly. Could have got in that server. Tough to see, but you know that you're going to click through the brand, and you got to think, well, with Mayfly, I can get through anything. Maybe he's realizing that now. Yep. So he undoes the click. He's just going to run click 1. That would have been the nice part about not advancing in server 1. With the 2 seamless in hand, it is a little bit more disguised. Why not? You're definitely getting in there with overclock. What's nice is with these leech counters, you got $9 and 2 leech counters. I mean, I'd want to just use the money here and save my leech counters, I think. You have the $5. Yeah, I think LQ just realized that. Save the counters on Leech. Yeah, the thing. Use the overclock. Save the Leech counters. Use your clicks. This costs you $4 anyways. Who cares about the last dollar? Use your clicks. Don't use your Leech counters and go broke. I don't even think he'll... Yeah, there you go. Use the clicks. And we got a game, 4-2. Maybe GC just pushes the agenda back there, the orbital, and this time tries a never advanced strategy, knowing that there's no barrier out there. You got 2 seamless launches. You could put it in server 1 and go gain credit. Make this look like it's a Nico campaign, right? Like you got the seamless. Why not use it? Playing it slow though. Maybe still puts the orbital in there. It's kind of a little bit of a bluff here, right? You're putting this big ice there. It sucks to get rid of the big ice. It would have been nice to, like, I don't know if you had something smaller there because there's nothing there. Almost as a bluff, you know? It would have seemed like if I could pick where I'd want the brand, I'd want it here on R&D, but not falling for it. But does he realize he can't get through there? He doesn't have the breaker. I don't think LQ realizes he can't get through there. Yeah, so Mayfly only works once, which I'm sure LQ has now realized, or just forgot that it trashed. You know, it's maybe different when you're playing with physical cards and these things actually physically trash them. So GC is running into some economy issues right now, but should still score this out on server 1, especially seeing the way LQ is now defending that remote, or should I say aggressively trying to get into that remote server. Not sure what the draw is for. What you're looking for, maybe a hedge fund, I don't know. Or, yeah, what are you looking for? Have you seen hedge fund yet? I don't know. There's such a big difference between finding the one console, the one penny shaver in the deck early and finding it later on. An interesting choice from Null Signal Games that they only put one console in the runner deck. In any deck that you build competitively, you're going to have 2 to 3 consoles. 2 if you really like to, you know, not have any unused cards, but really most of the time 3, you want to find your console early. GC now opting to score this. Yeah, penny. But the fact that there's only one penny shaver in this format, one console, is pretty wild. Seems to be a card that had they included a second copy of, I don't think anyone would have complained. Maybe having maybe the reasoning is having a second copy doesn't make the decks as competitive, really tilts the favor in terms of the runner. Even just try to drop this superconducting hub in there. I haven't seen Cleaver come down and just gain a credit, gain 2 credits. Why not? You're on 6 points, drop it in server 1, gain a credit. Not going to do much for LQ scoring it. Only got $3. Got $3. No fractor. Already used a mayfly. Yeah, there you go. Love it. Does have mutual favor. Does have DZMZ. Does have a $3 on telework. But you need all 3 clicks to get through Bram. So that's going to be GG. Yeah. Not sure what's with this run here. Oh. I see. You think you have enough counters now to get through for $2? That's smooth. That is smooth. Didn't see that line. That was smooth. I like that. It's a nice line. And what you're seeing from LQ here, which is really nice, is how hard contesting this remote server. That was something we didn't see in the last game. You can see last game was a big commitment to the centrals, to R&D. And you can see, obviously it's 6 points. LQ knows you have to defend this remote server, contest it, because you can't win if you're not running it every turn. Already trashed Antarctica. It's like a must run. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Good Netrunner. Not giving us away. I think GC's got to get the economy up. You got to make that server a little harder to get into. But LQ has a chance to get their economy up at the same time. Wildcat Strike would be very efficient here. Maybe you just want to farm, more virus counters. Why not? And this is a tough spot because you really are trying to get to $10 to use these, but you don't want to just give up those tokens. So, I mean, it's a must-res, I think. But it's also a good run. I might save that overclock for the remote server when that thing gets a little bigger, but maybe you're expecting that there's some agendas in here. Gonna get some virus counters. Just don't know if you really need the overclock if the unres ice there, or you can accomplish the same thing with just a run. Those overclocks are really good. Skunk is really good here in the remote because you already know LQ is running this really aggressively. And it's the safest spot for it. You got to install it somewhere, right? Can't leave it there. Let them trash it for 3. And if he runs there, he'd have to run their really first click in order to get in because he's not going to have $5, right? So he's going to have to spend the 2 clicks. And it's certainly going to eat up all those virus counters. It's going to eat up $2. And yeah, it would cost most of the money to trash it. It's also a decent spot for Wildcat Strike right now. I mean, but that's easy to say looking and seeing Skunk there. understand to LQ, you got to run everything. This is some nice running here. And this puts you in a tough spot because you cannot let this thing sit on the board. You just invested all your leech counters. You just invested $3. And now, that's tough. You can, I don't think you can let that thing sit there because it's just there next time now too. And you're not going to be able to afford to keep going in and paying that skunk tax, but it's annoying to have to pay that. There, clicked 3 times for credits. Sometimes you do that fast and don't realize that one of those clicks could have been for $2. Urtica could be, he's really running there. Unfortunately, he's a little low on resources. Double advance really pulling at the bit. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if LQ can actually get in there right now, though. That's the problem. The timing of that was really good. I just don't think LQ can get through there. Now, maybe get some buyer's counters. I don't know. Not with Matnick Arm. Do the math. You need way too much money without Matnick Arm. So yeah, this is good. Gonna get those leech counters up for $2. Getting $1 back is a good run. So I'm saying you don't always need overclock. This is just a good run. This is a tough spot now for GC because just invested some of the final money here on that Arctica cipher. LQ's already trashed one. Asked for the GG. It's not. It's not GG. And GC is in a tough spot right now. The other Arctica ciphers in the bin got no money. And it's apparent because would have scored to win there that is the last Arctica cipher. Wow. This is a good game. Really good game. These are 2 great players, though, and I gotta say, I'm not typically going to give up an hour or so on my Friday night to watch people play Netrunner, not play myself, but these players are very enjoyable to watch. Really good, young, new Netrunner players, really playing some smart Netrunner. These are really good runs right now for LQ. You're getting to see 2 cards, right? But more importantly than that, you're ticking up leech, double leech. This run is a tough one. Now this is where the Karuna is. Can you afford, as GC, the $4 to res this? It's only a single access, but now you're locking R&D. You're knowing what the corp is drawing. It's only costing you $2 to get through without that res. You're getting 2 tokens. You're getting $1 back here, and you have to clear it. So it will cost you an extra click and an extra $2, which is annoying. That's the power of Funhouse. And now LQ's been known to go tag me, and does so here. Which is very interesting. Known to go tag me. Throws out DZMZ. I guess you're not going to install too many more programs. But GC also can't really invest to trash the verbal plasticity here. It's a lot of money. And don't forget there's a lock right now. Drawing public trail, and LQ knows that. So knows that card went to hand. GC's got no assets to put into server 1 to draw LQ in. I think you have to draw here and break that R&D lock. but it looks like he's trying desperately to get to that government subsidy money. Trying desperately to get there. And at 6'3", you probably can afford it, but it's a tough spot. He should not public trail here. Now, one thing that's important is to look at the heat. There's a retribution on the table, and you want to see if your opponent has thrown out any breakers. They haven't, other than Mayfly. Like, these cards here cannot be trashed. Unity, Cleaver, and Carmen must stay here. Now, continuing that R&D lock, and we know that there's 13 cards left, and there's a bunch of agendas in there. I believe there's another 2 off-world offices. There's another orbital superiority and another send a message. So there's 2, 3, 4 agendas. So your probability is pretty good. Does LQ want to go tag me here? Knowing he has all the breakers in the bin. Let's see what he does. He may decide he's going to go tag me at this point in the game. I've seen him do this before. It's a good strategy. GC does not have money to do anything with those tags. LQ has all the programs sitting right there in the hand. There's only one retribution in the whole deck. This is certainly a spot where you can go tag me. Locking R&D. Gaining 6 off Penny Shaver. Going tag me. I love this. And if you're going tag me seriously, and the corp is poor, you can click Smartware. Let them spend the $2 on a click. They don't want to do that. And LQ doing an awesome job keeping the corp broke here. And look at those leech counters. Where are you keeping this runner out of? So they know they draw white space. GC almost needs to get out of this R&D lock, trying desperately to get up to those $10. This is tough. LQ is seeing your deck before you do, seeing that top card, and trashes Smartware. Can you afford a click and $2 to trash that if you're the corp right now? There was no money on it. I'm not so sure. Tough spot. And here comes the conduit dig. Running very low on money. But you can get through this for $2 and some tokens, and you're getting some money back. And you're just going to go tag me. This is where conduit shines. If you're trying to play this card, this is exactly how you play this card. LQ putting on a clinic on how to play this. You don't drop this turn 1 when you see R&D open. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, that was a mistake. You can't afford to drop those programs. You got 3 tags. So it looks like the way the board is, you have retribution and you can trash a program, and you're either going to trash Cleaver or you're going to trash Carmen, knowing that they can't get through this without 4 cards in hand. I would think really just going Scorched Earth here? What was that? You get through this for $2. Oh man, that was a misstep. So I love the conduit play. I love that. What does he trash? And he trashes Cleaver. Now you need to get a cheap. Yeah, so now you wish you had this Palisade. You wish you had that right now. Puts something there. I mean, yeah, you could have honestly trashed Karuna as well. That is certainly a consideration, knowing that that's a pretty much end the run here, and you have a Karuna there to end the run here. Yeah, you just can't. Yeah, unfortunately, Karuna looks like was the right one to trash because right now GC, you can get through this for for $2, and you're getting remember, a buck back from Penny Shaver, and you let this fire. I just can't fathom a reason to save $1 there and trash the programs you have been holding on to. On the bright side, this is certainly the way you play Conduit. You don't put it down early on in the game. You use it to close out games. It's an expensive program, and it's easy for to lose all your money. Yeah, and this is going to be. It looks like this will be the game here. R&D is so locked. Um, it's so locked up. You're seeing 3 cards deep right now on this next run, and it just shows the tag me. Really nice strategy. By LQ here. Really like the way he's played this game. These two players are familiar with each other. They played in the last tournament. They were playing out of the. They played in the lower bracket finals. Winner goes to the finals against Fernene, and in that game, GC came up victorious. But they're no strangers to playing against each other. But these were 2 sharp wins by LQ here. Yes, I'm calling it early with this R&D lock, but I just can't see a way that on this dig here, seeing 3 cards, you don't see it. Nope. Now, what do you do with your last 2 clicks? You can still get through one more time and see 4 cards. That's what I would do. Because yeah, exactly. I'm expecting GC to just purge on the following turn. But even then, you still have your money here. It's a tough spot. Nine tags. And in this format, boosters. There's just nothing you can do with those tags other than trash resources. Here's the card, the 4th card. Wow! So now, GC you think has to purge here? He says GG, but it's not. He could have ran there if he wanted to. Oh no, he doesn't have a cleaver. You got to purge here. It's your only option. He's going to see 5 cards. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Oh, man. Yeah. Know what the huh is for? Yeah, maybe. So this run here, I mean, obviously he's saying, huh, he can't believe that he knows that the next 5 cards are not agendas. So, I mean, you have to get your conduit counters back up. That's how you're closing out this game here, since you can't get into server 1. Although, there may be a mayfly left. Let's take a look if there is. I see 1 mayfly here, and the other one's here. No, so no mayfly. So he can't get into server 1. He is locked out of server 1. And this res by GC here is strictly to stop the farming of leech counters, and it may also be to distract from the fact that there is nothing in HQ. And you have to imagine, if you're playing this game on LQ's end, you must think with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in HQ that there is an agenda in there. And this is very time consuming to get through. Maybe here you gain credit, hedge fund. The good news is I believe there's still 1 more palisade left. So if you can find the palisade, there's 1 burned here, but there's 3 in the format, right? So hear me out. If you can get one more Palisade, you can find it. And it might be one of those cards that LQ just saw. You can get that here. You can trash these when you install it too. You don't have to keep these here if you're short on money. You could go install Palisades, just trash these two ice. Who cares? He can't get through. So you can literally just trash these two, install Palisades there, and then you have a complete lock. What was this here? Another Nico? That's not a bad play. I would have probably just credit hedge fund. The trick is you just want to get that last Palisades on R&D. And most people don't know this, but when you install ICE, you're allowed to trash as much crap in that server as you want. So right now, trying to install a Palisades above Karuna costs $2. That's a huge cost right now. But you can actually just trash this stuff that you don't need anymore. And if GC can find that Palisade and drop it on R&D, game over. There is a chance, however, that GC can get decked here, can lose. When you draw that last, when you have to do your mandatory draw from R&D, and you can't do it because there's no cards there, you lose. These have been two really good games. A lot of ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs. What does LQ do here? You have to establish that conduit lock, because as soon as you have to find an agenda before GC finds that Palisades. And here, still no Palisade. I might just, if you're a smart player, and I'm not saying I'm this smart, but you are writing down when you are LQ what are the cards on R&D you've seen and in what order, and you are knowing when GC draws them, so you know when the top of R&D is a fresh card. If I am GC and I'm a smart player, I am counting how many cards it is that LQ has seen, so I know when my time has run out and when the next card on top is something that they haven't seen. Now, this here Karuna is really, you can actually have trashed this. It would have saved you $1. But I don't think most players know that. But you could have trashed this funhouse. Would have saved you $1. I mean, not a big deal, but. He's got no money, though. No money. And once an agenda is drawn or Palisades, it's over. You really have to be keeping track of how many, if you're the corp, you have to be keeping track of how many cards in R&D the runner's seen. And if you're the runner, you have to keep track of how many cards you've seen and what they were. So you know the optimal time to run when the cards are going to be fresh. This might be a purge here for GC, to be honest. Because with one more dollar, LQ can see that top card of R&D. Oh! You got to just ship that into server 1 right now. Wow. There is still, though, a orbital superiority in R&D of the 4 cards. Oh, no, there's 2 here. There's not. But there still is another off-world office, I believe. I think there's 3 off-world in this format. You got to run R&D here. You got to run R&D. Here, it's not necessary to run with Conduit. You can. It's not necessary because you're not going to see an extra card, and whenever you have a successful run on R&D, you get the token. So if you have something here like an overclock, you can use that and still get that first token on Conduit. For the win, this is game, this is it. Either game is going, a sweep will go to LQ, or we will see a split. Oh! Wow. Two insane games. Nope. Wow. Really, two great games, two great players. This is what it's all about. This is what it was all about. Really great, really exceptional Netrunner. I'm really proud of these two players. I want to say this, definitely proud of these two players. Just really putting on a clinic here and how these decks work. They might be playing with the starter decks, but they are playing as good as Netrunner and as thoughtful, calculated Netrunner as anybody in the standard. That's entertaining. It might have been 43 minutes. People might be thinking that I'm an old man and falling asleep, but I'm telling you, this was exciting. This was really, really great to see. And it's been awesome to see them develop as players. It's also very cool to see that all the time that has been invested into building this Netrunner club, that it's been very well worth it to see people playing this well in their first year. And I can tell you this, if you're watching this video, seeing how well y'all are playing this early into your Netrunner career is wild. Maybe some point at a later time, I can tell you how I started early on, and I didn't have somebody showing me what to do. And it was also during the pandemic, so I didn't have people to play with in person. And I didn't even know how stuff worked. I thought you could res ice at any time, not just approaching it on the server. And it took me a very long time to learn the game. But this has been really great to see. And yeah, it might be a 2 gigabyte file. So I'm going to sign off here. Thank y'all if you watched this far. Those were 2 awesome games. Thanks to our players, GC and LQ. This was a wild one with a lot of interesting implications along the way. So good night. Always be running. See you next time.